Monday, May 12, 2014. This is Mercedes Diesel Guy, and this is my 1983 Mercedes 240 Diesel. Those of you who have been following along know that yesterday I finally took the car out of the garage, started it for the first time this year, washed it down, and turned it around so I can get started on the driver's side of the body. Now, yesterday afternoon, I actually took up the floor coating in the car here. And if you give me a moment, I'm going to put a light on this so you can actually see something. That's better. Anyhow, I got the rear floor coating pretty much up. This stuff is actually very easy to deal with. It's almost like a plastic. It's almost like a plastic coating at this point. It's pretty dried up, and you just add a little bit of heat and get a screwdriver or a chisel under it, and it just comes up in large sheets. I had this cleared off in just a few minutes. And overall, despite the way it looks, the floor actually does seem pretty solid at first glance. I mean, I've been hitting it with a screwdriver and whatnot. A lot of what you see here is basically just, crud. So I'm going to take another look at this, but the other task for tonight is the front there. Now I have to take up the floor vent from the HVAC in order to get up the floor coating there. But my task overall is to assess the condition of the floors and decide on the best way to repair this. The driver's side is actually going to be just slightly more challenging. In addition to the vacuum lines, I've also got wires running along the floor here. But even on top of that, underneath the car on this side are the fuel lines. And if and when I weld, I certainly, don't want to get too close to those. So I am going to continue on with what I was doing yesterday. Well, this is my stopping point for the evening, and I must say even I am pleasantly surprised. It's not perfect in here, but in terms of Mercedes floor, this is the best section I've seen in years. Now, I was afraid that the driver's side floor was going to be as bad as, if not worse than the passenger side. Thankfully, it's actually in significantly better shape. Now, I was able to verify that the floor is pretty much completely intact in terms of the way it attaches to the rocker panel. I wasn't expecting that. I was certainly hoping for it, but not expecting it. Once again, I haven't seen any Mercedes rear floor this intact in years. That being said, it's not perfect. Found a couple of pinholes. This one right here, I was able to put a screwdriver through it. And there's another one right here. Plus the metal seems abnormally soft here, so even though it is still metal, I think it is pretty thin there. Could possibly use some reinforcement. But overall, the rear floor is in pretty good shape. Same with the front. Now, once again, the front is not without its problems, but it's certainly better than any of the Mercedes I've been working on for years, for the past few years now. There's this rust hole right through here, but it's a completely localized area, should be pretty easy to patch up. There's this hole on the side here, which was closed off by a body plug, but it's a bit rusted out now. But overall, this is in very good shape. Now, the only part of the panel, rocker panel, that's compromised at all is just, not even sure if you can see it on the video here. Right down there. I mean, just a couple of inches worth. Just to recap, I'm used to seeing these cars front to back completely compromised. That's the way it was on my 81 240D. That's the way it was on my 72 220D. And The passenger side of this car certainly wasn't much better. And I also have just a couple of pinholes there in the front. Once again, I was able to get a screwdriver through those, so I guess they're maybe a little bigger than pinholes, but these are all really small, isolated areas, and I went around them with a screwdriver. And then there's also this area right here. Structurally speaking, I would actually be perfectly comfortable driving this car as is. That being the case, I still want to fix all of this. Thankfully, famous last words, I think this should actually go a lot quicker than the passenger side. I don't think this will take me too long to fix up at all. Next time I'm out here, probably tomorrow night, I'm going to just do a little more cleanup inside the car here, and then I'll probably jack up the driver's side here and start exploring by the jack points and the underside of these holes and see what else I can uncover in terms of damage from the other side of the floor. But overall, the only way I could be happier is if there was no damage at all. But that being the case, I'm very happy with this. This is all going to be pretty easy to deal with. Anything you see up front here still is really just surface rust. So I'm happy. This is not going to be nearly as bad as I thought. Certainly better than the passenger side, which of course, as you've seen, is repaired now. So this is Mercedes Diesel Guy. Thanks for watching, and I'll try to get back to this tomorrow.